Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw a Dimorphodon. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the head. To draw the circle, first make two small marks to indicate the circle's length, and then on the sides make two more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. Sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. Also, pause the video to draw at your own pace. The circle doesn't have to be perfect, but if you're having trouble drawing it, just trace the outer edge of a coin, a bottle cap, or anything else with a circular edge. On the top left side, draw a curved line as a guide for the top jaw. This shape should be similar to an arc on its side. Make the bottom part of this guide slightly flat. Below that, draw a smaller curved line as a guide for the lower jaw. This shape should be similar to the letter U on its side. To the right, draw another circle as a guide for the front part of the body. Use the 4 marks method to draw this circle too. Pay attention to the size and position of this circle in relation to the head. Connect the circles using 2 short sloping lines to create the guide for the neck. On the right, draw a long curved line as a guide for the lower half of the body. This shape is basically a big arc on its side. Dimorphodons have short bodies, so don't draw this line too long. Starting on top of the body, draw a very long angled line as a guide for the wing. Bend this line to indicate the joints on the wing. Pay attention to the length of this line in relation to the body. The line should bend 3 times at the top. On the right side, the line should bend down. Starting on top of the head, draw another angled line as a guide for the other wing. This line should be shorter because this wing is farther away. This line should bend 3 times as well. Bend the left side of this line downward. On the right side, draw a long curved line to finish the guide for the first wing. Don't angle this line, make it curved. Draw a curved line on the left side too to finish the guide for the other wing. Make the tips of the wings thin and pointy. On the lower right side of the body, draw a short angled line as a guide for the first leg. Pay attention to how this line bends. To the left, draw a shorter angled line as a guide for the other leg. On the right side of the body, draw a long horizontal line as a guide for the tail. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Inside the head, lightly sketch a small circle for the eye. Place the eye slightly higher than the center of the circle. As you darken the shape, make the sides pointier for the corners of the eye. Inside the eye, off to the side, draw a tiny circle for a highlight. In the middle of the eye, draw a small circle and shade it in for the pupil. Now shade the rest of the eye. Use a value that's lighter than the pupil when you shade the eye. Draw a couple of short curved lines around the eye for the eyelid and wrinkles. Keep these lines close to the shape of the eye. Draw a curved line above the eye for the first part of the thick brow. Break up the line to create texture. At the top, draw a series of short angled lines for the thick scales on the brow. Curve the lines on the left side along the path of the eye. Each of these lines should be similar to an upside-down letter V. Add more lines on the right side so that they surround the eye. Add more short lines around the eye for more texture and wrinkles. Use the arc-like shape on the top left side of the head as a guide to draw the top jaw. First, draw a series of small pointy shapes along the bottom edge of the guide for the teeth. Each tooth should be similar to a small oval with a pointy bottom edge. Extend the bottom edge of the guide to the right to make the mouth longer. Draw smaller V-shaped teeth on the right side. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the line when you get the shape right. Darken the rest of the guide to finish the shape of the top jaw. Make the shape wavier at the top to give the jaw more structure. Inside the jaw, draw a thin pointy shape for the nostril. Above the nostril, draw a sloping line for a ridge on the muzzle. Use the curved line at the bottom as a guide to draw the lower jaw. Inside the guide, lightly sketch a long sloping line for the open mouth. Draw a series of small triangular shapes on top of the line for the teeth. Darken the line for the mouth. The mouth should extend farther to the right than the eye. On the right side, draw a short line for the skin between the jaws. Darken the edge of the guide to complete the lower jaw. Draw a few lines around the mouth for texture on the skin. As you darken the edge, make the line wavier for texture. Draw a series of small triangular shapes on the top part of the guide for the teeth that are on the other side of the jaw. Inside the mouth, draw a few sloping lines for the tongue and the inside of the jaw. Make the tongue thin and pointy and don't overlap the teeth. Now use the other shapes and lines as guides to draw the rest of the head. Darken the outer edges of the guides to create the shape of the head. Draw a few angled lines at the top for the other brow. Draw a series of short strokes along the right side for texture. Draw a wavy line at the bottom to complete the neck. Use the long shape on top of the body as a guide to draw the first wing. First, darken the top edge of the guide. At the top, where the guide first bends, draw a series of thin pointy shapes for the digits. Draw the digits along the edge of the guide. Curve the shapes to the right and make the tips pointy for the claws. Don't make the digits too long. Darken the remaining section of the top guideline. This top part of the wing is actually made up of an extra long digit. On the left side, draw a long line for the arm-like section of the wing. Curve the lines to create some muscle structure. Keep this line close to the left side so that the shape isn't too thick. Continue to draw this line along the top edge of the wing. Bend the line to indicate the joints. Make the tip of the wing thin and pointy. Darken the curved line at the bottom to finish the shape of the wing. The bottom edge of the wing is made up of thin skin that attaches to the body. Use the shape that's on the left side of the head as a guide to draw the other wing the same way. First, darken the top part of the guide. On the first joint, draw a series of thin curved shapes for the digits. Make the digits small in relation to the rest of the wing. The tips of the digits should be thin and pointy. Below that, draw a sloping line to create the arm-like section of the wing. Darken the left side of the guide and make the shape thicker by drawing another angled line. The tip of the wing should be thin and pointy. Darken the curved line at the bottom to finish the shape of the wing. Use the angled line that's on the lower right side of the body as a guide to draw the first leg. First, lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Make the top of the leg thick and gradually make it thinner toward the bottom. At the bottom, split the shape into two for the toes. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. Bend the shape along the guideline to indicate the joints. On the lower right side, draw a thin pointy shape for the tip of the toe. Use the angled line on the left as a guide to draw the other leg the same way. Just like before, draw the shape of the leg around the guideline. Make the shape of the leg thick at the top and gradually make it thinner toward the bottom. At the bottom, draw a couple of small pointy shapes for the toes. Use the shapes in the middle as guides to draw the rest of the body. Darken the outer edges of the guides to create the shape of the body. Don't overlap the wing and the leg as you darken the lines. Use the line on the right as a guide to draw the tail. Draw the shape of the tail around the guideline. Make the left side thick and gradually make it thinner on the right side. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. Draw a small diamond-like shape on the tip of the tail. Now erase the initial guidelines. The next few steps are sped up so that the video isn't too long. Don't worry about erasing all of the guidelines, it's okay that you leave some behind. Redraw any of the final lines that you may have accidentally erased. Now shade your drawing. Shade lightly at first and gradually build up to darker values. For light values, push down very lightly on your pencil, then push down harder for darker values. Use darker values throughout the body to create shadows. Pick a light source as you shade so that the shadows are consistent throughout the body. Here the light source is coming from the top, so most of the shadows will be on the underside of the shapes. Draw a series of short squiggly lines all over the body for a scaly texture. Add a few angled lines inside the wings for veins. Keep shading until you're happy with the result. And that's it for the Dimorphodon. Don't forget to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit howtodrawanimals.com where every step of this tutorial is broken down into an individual image. That's how, and then the number 2, then drawanimals.com. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and a comment. Also subscribe for more videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.